This is TWiT.
Hashtag Swedengate trending on Twitter right now. It turns out Swedish people, as a rule, don't serve food to guests.
I asked a friend about this, and she told me that was totally true. And I just was like,
Are you serious?
I'm trying to imagine the situation. Well, and apparently some households in Sweden, when you would, and I think it's mostly kids, I guess, they'd be playing over at their friend's house and the family would eat dinner, but they wouldn't invite the friend. The friend would stay up in the playroom or somebody's room.
Oh, that's just rude.
The family would eat and send it back. Well, I asked my friend about this, and she's like, she grew up in Sweden, and she's like, yeah, if you spent the night at someone's house, like even in the morning for breakfast, like your friend would go down and have like eggs or cereal or something, and you would just be up in their room. And I'm like, did you pack your own snack? I mean, like,
this is an article in the Independent by Linda Johansson. She says, as a child growing up in Gothenburg, I remember not really caring at all that I wasn't being fed. I just kept playing and had a nice quiet time while the other family had their dinner. Is because they didn't want to mess up my family's plans. They figured, well, your family probably going to feed you dinner, so you don't have to eat dinner with us. It's just cultural. It's just cultural.
I got to tell you.
Did you get the map?
no, that's just weird.
Is that how they do it in
similar
South Kakalaki?
situations. I've been in similar situations in my little black communities in South Kakalaki, and the parents would literally come to the door. Hey, y'all come eat. Well, Aunt, I don't know what your mom or your grandmother is doing, so you just because my mom or my grandmother would fuss about food being wasted.
That's fair. Because we know your parents are going to feed you, so go home.
or
you see the
turn
map,
into
Leo?
call your mother or call your grandmother and see if it's okay that you eat here.
Oh, there you go. I like that.
Well, yeah, we
That I
had
got- yeah,
we
that I
had
got
like
too.
that.
Yeah.
But you'd invite you. You'd be like, you come down and you'd be like, hey, Mom, can so-and-so stay for dinner? And she'd be like, sure. Or no, we don't have enough. I mean, that was totally a legit thing to do. But then you go up and you're like, all right, you got to go home for dinner.
Yeah.
You didn't leave them sitting upstairs.
That's pretty funny.
So I put the map,
They
Leo.
left me sitting outside a time or two with the baseball or the basketball.
Yeah, I can actually remember that. Yeah. But I didn't even grow up in Sweden. All right, where's the map? What line?
So the bottom of other in the rundown is somebody did a map about this as to what usually happens. So all of Scandinavia, including Denmark and Iceland, is no food for you. Get your own lutefisk.
What?
As somebody said on Twitter.
What?
So whereas
the red ones are very unlikely to give you food. Sweden's in there. The pink ones are unlikely to give you food. The blue ones are usually yes. But notice it's the southern Europe where they're almost always. In Italy and Spain, they're going to make you eat. They're going to make you. I don't care if you've got dinner waiting for you. You're eating now. So it might really have more to do with climate. I don't know.
It's culture.
It's culture.
I guess. I can't imagine eating in front of someone and not offering them food. That is just...
I
just
can, but
weird.
I'm selfish, so...
I'm telling you, the warmer the climate, the more likely you'll be fed. So in Texas, you're going to be fed.
Yeah.
In Canada, I'm not so sure. What is it? Canadians.
Well, maybe.
We have a lot of Canadians.
Maybe.
Canadians in the chat room. Canadians in Club TWiT. What happens when you were a kid and you went over and you visited? Would you get food? Would you get fed?
It's probably a kindly worded debate. So food never happened.
I'm so sorry, but we can't feed you.
So Wally Searick explains on Twitter, and it's a link at the bottom of that story, that in Norse culture, hospitality, providing food, drink, lodging, was a duty of higher status individuals toward people of lower status.
Oh, so
but the act of receiving hospitality created an obligation or debt on the part of the recipient who couldn't afford it. Right? That's my parenthetical. So hospitality not only brought honor to the giver, it had the potential to bring shame to the recipient. Norse culture, as progressed through the Middle Ages, was incredibly personally violent. There's that too. You took my lutefisk and didn't give me any. Pah! Off with your head. Right. So people fought duels violently extracted debts, and squeezed renters. All this from Wally Sierk on Twitter. One of the challenges of the Protestant church in Scandinavia post 30 Years' War was to create a culture that tamped down on personal violence. Because as somebody said to me some time ago, I read something that said, Sweden, ransacked all of Europe, and today they're Sweden. So people change. So they tried to change the culture. But the root of a lot of impersonal violence was a competition for status and extraction of payment. That's really interesting, isn't it?
So in a way, it would be implying that I am higher status than you to invite you to eat.
I give you
food.
Well, that's
You're probably
true,
too
'cause
poor
I
to
have-
eat. Yeah.
When I was growing up, I would have friends who, like, my parents tracked who I ate, because like as a kid, you don't necessarily know, but they had a definite reciprocity thing that
we owe somebody
other
now,
friends
right.
of mine.
Oh, yes.
So that's interesting. But like my friends who, like, I had a friend who was Filipino, and God help us, we could not go to that house without, like, there
Right.
was food always.
I'm telling you, it's climate.
So
This is another great tweet here from him. The church, with the framing of early Protestant humanists, began to promote the ideal of the free member of society, owing no one and owed nothing. If the culture could get rid of the interactions that caused friction, people could live more peaceful lives.
So you're proud, and we're going to just, you go have your dinner at your place, because it's cultural. It's fine.
It's cultural.